This is the brand new Anthros Chair, and it is my favorite new chair of 2023, especially if you experience lower back pain like I do. Let's get honest. Before you scream shill or sponsored or
honestly, more like dishonestly,
which is quite clever by the way, Anthros asked if they could review my review before it went out. And my response to them was, hey, you guys can look at a rough edit, sure, but I do not allow companies to give input or feedback into these reviews because that defeats the whole purpose of what I'm trying to do here, which is to provide objective reviews for you all. So if you like that approach, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel a lot. So what makes the Anthros Chair so unique? Well, these guys are focused on providing pelvic support, not lumbar support, to help you with your sitting as well as to relieve lower back pain. Now, if you're anything like me, you might be super pessimistic right now and you might be thinking, okay, so this hip new company, Anthros, has figured out a way to fix lower back pain that no one else in the chair industry has figured out? Yeah, all right, whatever. And I get that, but what if I told you that the most popular chair in the world, the Herman Miller Aeron, actually uses pelvic support, not lumbar support? You see, the person who came up with the idea of the lower back support system in the Herman Miller Aeron, which is called the Posture Fit, that person was a chiropractor. And that chiropractor discovered that, hey, if you provide pelvic support, which is lower down than the lumbar, then it puts everything else, the entire spine, including the lumbar area, into its proper place and seem to relieve more lower back pain than putting just lumbar support, just slamming lumbar support into people's backs. And as some of you may know, the Herman Miller Aeron has gone on to be the most famous chair in the world, and as far as I know, has relieved a ton of people's lower back pains, including my own. So this idea of pelvic support is not new. What makes the Anthros totally different than the Herman Miller Aeron is that unlike the Aeron, which the Posture Fit just kind of goes in and out just a tiny bit, this thing can really be dialed in to get as much or as little pelvic support as you personally need. Now, there is a proper way to dial this in, but more on that a little bit later. The second thing that makes the Anthros Chair so unique is that using the lower left back knob, you can really dial in this upper back support as well. The third thing that makes this chair so unique is that the cushioning on the seat as well as on the back is the best cushion I've experienced on any chair. I own and have tested all the most high-end chairs, and this cushion just blows them out of the water. I don't know what they put in here, but it is soft yet incredibly supportive. It's just so freaking good. You may not like this chair, but one thing you cannot deny is that this cushion is industry best. It is that good. I've been doing a lot of physical labor in my studio to set up a second YouTube channel, and it's caused a lot of lower back pain. And when I was testing this chair and I went to go sit on it, my lower back pain was gone instantly. This is not propaganda, I'm telling you, it was just gone. There are some caveats to it. There are some other pains that come with this chair, but we'll talk about that as we break down the chair, starting from the bottom, working our way up. Starting from the casters and legs. Now, normally I would just say casters are fine, legs are fine, let's keep moving. But actually it's a little bit different here. The casters are fine, the legs are great, but this chair actually comes with two different types of bases. Right there, what you see on camera is the four-legged base, and then they also have a five-legged base. Now, the four-legged base is unique because you might have noticed it, but I can't turn the chair. In order to turn in the four-legged base, you have to actually physically turn your body, and this is supposed to be better ergonomically for you so that you're moving your entire body instead of just turning your hips all day. I hate this. I hate it so much because there's so many times when someone's trying to talk to me and I'm like, and I can't move it. It's just really, really annoying. They do have a traditional five-wheel base where you can turn like you would in any other chair. I plan on putting this on, but what's also really unique about their bases is that they provide this system here. This you probably haven't seen on any other chair, and what it does is that they understand that even though they provide a 12-year warranty on their chairs, the first thing that's probably gonna fail on any chair is gonna be the cylinder. But in order to get the base off to replace the cylinder, you usually have to unscrew some things, get a mallet and tap it out, and it's just a whole not fun process. With this, you can stick an Allen key in both of these holes and screw up and the thing will pop out itself. It's really cool and it makes removing the base and the cylinder so much easier. It did take quite a few turns, took a little bit of strength, especially as you got closer to the end, but it does pop out nicely and it defeats getting a rubber mallet and banging and beating at the chair. Now, as a point of clarification, when you put in the new leg rest, you do not need to screw in anything hex-wise. You just literally place it in there and you're good to go. When it comes to the features under the chair, we'll start from the right side. From the back here, this knob in the back right is going to be your pelvic adjustment. So if you turn it towards you, it's gonna bring it in, and then if you move it away from you, it's gonna pull it out. Again, more on how to adjust this a little bit later when we get to the pelvic and backrest section. Up here in the front right here is going to be a knob and a lever. This lever is going to be your height adjustment for up and down. And then this knob is going to be your tilt tension. Now, what's nice about the tilt tension is that you only need about 3 to 4 turns, full turns, in order to go from fully taut to totally loose. So here, I'm totally loose, and this is as far back of a tilt as you'll get in the chair. And then if I go ahead and turn it 4 times, now it's pretty taut and I can't really tilt easily in the chair. Now, something you might have noticed is that when I have it fully loose and I tilt back in the chair, this does not use a synchro tilt mechanism. Synchro tilt basically means that your seat rest or your seat doesn't turn upwards as you go backwards. It usually stays in a more level-ish position, maybe tilts back just a tiny bit. Here it doesn't have that. You can see that the seat rises up with it as you go back. Now, I will say that when you tilt in this chair, first of all, it feels really, really good because the cushioning is so soft and so supportive. It feels great, and this is an awesome position, especially to relieve some upper back soreness you might have. It's something I'll explain a little bit later. But because of that, I wish it did have a headrest so that I could be in this position a little bit more often. But I think Anthros anticipated this, that when you tilt, you start to have Kevin Hart legs. And so they included a footrest for anybody who's under 5'11". It has 2 positions. It's not the greatest footrest, right? It's kind of cheap plastic. It's not great, but it does its job. You got a shorter position like this, in case you're someone who's a little bit taller. For me, I need it on the higher position when I tilt. Put it in there like that, so that when I tilt back, my feet can actually rest on something and they're not just dangling up in the air. Under the chair on the left side here, in the back, you've got this, let me go ahead and lock the chair. In the back, you've got this knob here, and turning this is going to control the upper back support. So upper back, you can either turn it out, and then if you turn it towards you, then it'll start to move it in. Now, this knob here in the front left side, this is going to lock or unlock your back tilt. What's a little bit weird is that turning it forward unlocks it. I thought that turning it back would be more intuitive, but anyways, turning it back actually locks the back tilt. When it comes to sizing, Anthros recommends a height of 5'1" all the way up to 6'5", but I have some caveats. I think if you're 5'1" to 5'3" and you're somebody who likes to tilt back in your chair, I'm gonna say you probably might wanna skip this one unless you have a very high footrest. And the reason why is because, again, when you tilt back, I think your legs are just gonna be dangling up in the air, and unless you have a high footrest, you're not gonna be able to rest on anything. When it comes to weight limit, Anthros recommends 130 pounds up to 300 pounds. Now, if you're under 130 pounds, it's because you're gonna have a hard time tilting back in this chair. But I'll say that you can be under 130 pounds, just provided you're not somebody who likes tilting in your chair. If that's you, then I think this chair could work for you. As for the upper echelon of 300 pounds, yeah, this cushion, the build quality in this chair is fantastic, and I think it'll be fine. When it comes to the seat, I already talked about how the cushion here is the best cushion in the business. It literally feels like you're sitting on a cloud. You don't sink into it, you're not just disappearing into it. It holds you nice and firm, but at the same time, it's so gentle and so soft. I don't know what they did, it's witchcraft, it's so good. When it comes to the fabric on the seat, I would say it's soft, but it's not smooth. It feels like old couch fabric, where when you run your fingers across it, it is a bit bumpy. I'll give some close-ups and you'll see exactly what I mean here. When it comes to the depth and the width, this seat is nice and deep and it's pretty wide as well, but it's not the best for, leg tuckers or double tuckers. It's not great for you all. And the reason why is because you end up losing seat depth when you really dial in the chair, because you have to sit a little bit more forward in your chair for most people. And as a result, you're not gonna have all that depth to be able to sit back and tuck your leg up like this inside of this chair. So if you like to sit that way, this chair might not be for you, and I don't think it was designed that way. It was really designed to help you sit properly, to improve your posture, to improve your lower back health throughout the day, especially if you're sitting long hours. Now, when it comes to the arms on this chair are just okay. They're not great. The pads here, it's interesting because when you push on it, they've got a lot of give, but then when you rest your arm on it, you don't feel any of that give, so something to keep in mind. When it comes to the plastic on the arms, it feels lower quality than the plastic on the rest of the chair. And when you move it, it does have a little bit of shake. Not much, but a little bit of shake here. In terms of movements, you're able to move the pad forward and back, and then you can swivel it in, middle, and out. It's not the easiest to do, but what's nice about it is that if you hit it, it's not gonna just move that arm out of position like it would on some other high-end chairs. And of course, the armrest can go up and down using this lever in the front here. Now, this arm pad can't be moved in or out, but the entire arm can. If you look under here, there's gonna be a tab. You can unlock it and you can go ahead and pull that arm width to whatever position you like, and then you can go and relock it with that tab, just like that. When it comes to the pelvic and back support, these cushions are the same cushion found in the seat. Super soft, super supportive, feels really good, and what separates it from the Aeron is that because this thing is so soft, and it's cushy all around, is that you can really be aggressive with it and it doesn't hurt. The Herman Miller Aeron uses a much smaller surface area pad, and it's got a little thin cushioning layer between you and that pad. And because it's got a smaller surface area, some people said like, oh, I kind of feel it because, you know, if you're on a piece of thing and then your body's contorting around it, you can feel kind of the edges of that thing. With this, it's nice because you just feel the entire pelvic support all the way across. Now, how exactly do you dial this chair in to you? Anthros has a lot of instructions on how to do it, but I'll show you guys how to do it here. So what you want to do is when you sit in the chair, first of all, you want to pull the pelvic support and the top backrest support all the way back. And then what you want to do is you want to sit far back in the chair so that you have, so that you have about 1 inch of space between the front edge of the chair and the back of your calf. So about 2 fingers, you want to make sure you have that space here, just like this. Then from here, what you want to do is now you want to go ahead and curl your back forward like you're kind of slouching, and then not slouching like exaggerated, but slouching like you might in some other chairs, and then go ahead and sit upright inside of your chair. And do that a couple times, and that's just going to kind of give you the feeling of what it feels like to slouch versus what it feels like to sit properly inside your chair. Then when you're getting into a more upright position, not forced, but just kind of natural upright position, you can now bring the pelvic support in towards your position and let it come to you. Don't move back towards it. And I like mine pretty aggressive, so I like mine just about there. It's got a good amount of tension there. And you should find that when you sit in your chair, like when you're sitting, you're able to sit properly in your chair, like in an upright position without any effort. It's gonna be actually pretty difficult to sit like this because of the support you're getting in that pelvic area. Then from here, you want to dial in that backrest. And this is the one that's a little bit more subjective in terms of how you like it. Some people might like it really, really aggressive so that they're sitting just like that. For me personally, I like mine just a little bit looser so that I'm leaned back a little bit, but just so that I'm a little bit more relaxed in the upper back. Now, this is where some caveats come in. Like I said, when I had some back soreness because I've been doing a lot of setup here, for example, even just doing that bottom, detaching the legs here, my back was on fire. As soon as I sit in this, it's like, oh, it feels so good. But one thing I noticed was that when I first got the chair, I've had it for about 3 weeks. When I first got the chair, my upper back felt sore. And I think, first of all, Anthros already anticipated this. They have a bunch of material on their site that talks about how it's gonna take some time for your body to adjust. Admittedly, whenever I sit in my chairs, my backrest and my upper back is just on vacation. I'm usually kind of slouching just a tiny bit in my chair, so my upper back is literally doing nothing. It's just slouching the entire day. So the fact that now it kind of has to sit in a proper position and my shoulders and upper back have to do work, it did feel sore. It wasn't pain because as I got up, if I sat in a different chair, it immediately went away. But it does feel a little bit more sore. So something you need to keep in mind. Something to also keep in mind is that good sitting posture is not what most people do inside their chairs. They like to be more comfortable than anything, which I totally understand. This is why I've had about 7 people in my studio, including my wife. And of those 7, my wife was the only one who sat in the chair and immediately said, I really like this. A part of it was because my wife and I are about the same height. She's 5'7", I'm about 5'6.5" or something. And because of that, I think our dimensions are similar. And so it was dialed into me. So when she sat in, she liked it. The other 6, they're all different heights. They're not like me. And it was dialed into my seat. And they didn't know exactly what they were doing or how to dial it in. That shows the weakness in 2 areas. One is that I think a lot of people prefer to sit in a comfortable manner as opposed to a proper manner. Of those 6 guys that came in, one of them came in multiple times, and after his 3rd time sitting in this chair, he was like, okay, I get the appeal of this chair. I feel a lot healthier sitting inside this chair compared to an Embody. Even though he liked the way the Embody felt, it's his favorite chair, he said, sitting in this, I definitely feel like I'm sitting properly. So that's something to keep in mind. The other thing to keep in mind is that I'm glad that Anthros offers a 30-day return policy, because getting this chair exactly the way you want it is gonna take a little bit of time. I talked about a little bit of back soreness in this chair because I just feel like I have to use my back a little bit more in this compared to other chairs. In order to release some of that, you can go ahead and unlock it, you can tilt back, and you can really flex and move inside this chair and use the back cushion, which is nice and supportive, to actually get into those muscles and help you massage yourself to relieve some of that and then get back into a proper seating position and do that. But here's the other thing, is that I understand that a lot of people actually don't know how to dial in their chair. As much as you might teach them, as much as you show them, Anthros has a hotline that you can call that will help you dial in the chair and will kind of walk you through those steps. So that's a really cool service that they offer. Again, I'm glad they offer a 30-day return policy, because that way you can really take your time to see if this chair is going to fit you in the right way. Yeah, and that's always a huge plus. This chair is quite expensive at about $2,000. Now, if you use my link and code down below, you can save $200, bringing it about to $1,800, and using my link down below helps this channel a lot. I really appreciate it. But that brings the price of this to about the same price as the Herman Miller Aeron and slightly cheaper than the Herman Miller Embody. But Anthros is offering the same kinds of things that Herman Miller offers, with a 12-year warranty as well as free 30-day returns. As a matter of fact, Herman Miller doesn't offer free returns anymore. That's now a $50 shipping fee as well as a $50 return fee on their performance chairs, which is their Embody and their Aerons. So yeah, you gotta consider that. The jury on customer service is still out. We just don't know. The jury on the warranty and warranty process is still out. We just don't know. So those are some risks you need to consider when picking up this chair. They offer these things. Their customer service right now seems great. They seem pretty active on Reddit. So those are some things that you do need to consider. The other thing that you need to consider, and this is a word of caution, is that right now, Anthros still has not completed shipping their pre-orders. Some comments on my YouTube channel have stated, hey, I ordered it way back when, and there continue to be shipping delays. And because of that, I'm always hesitant to be like, yeah, you should buy it right now, right? I'm hesitant to do that because of the shipping delays. I would say that if you're kind of stuck in a dilemma, because one is, if you wait to purchase it, well, then you can be further back in line, delaying your chair further. But also, if you do it now, well, what if this ends up being vaporware? I just don't know. And as a result, I'm gonna say, if you feel like you're sold on this chair, use your credit card, please. They offer consumer protection. So if it ends up being vaporware, you can get your money back through their consumer protection. And also, if you do get the Anthros chair, I would love to know in the comments down below. That way I can update my pinned comment or something to say, hey, these are shipping, and I can more confidently recommend this chair. Final thoughts on this chair is gonna be that, again, when it comes to properly sitting in your chair and proper posture, when it comes to cushioning, this chair is seriously wonderful. It's falling quickly into my top 5 picks, but the reason why I'm hesitant to say that and put it in there is because I'm waiting to see this chair get shipped out, and I'm waiting to see what the feedback in terms of customer service, in terms of some warranty things, in terms of that kind of stuff. I'm waiting to see what comes out of that before I start putting this into my top 3, top 5 chair recommendations of all time. Hope you liked this video. Again, as always, links will be down in the description below. You can save $200 off this chair if you decide to pick up. Until next time, stay safe, and as always, stay honest.